I guess we can start with some background. So, a little bit about me. In 2018, I got my Bachelor's of Science from FIU. So, Miami girl through and through. I never went anywhere for college. I stayed here for everything. And then shortly after that, I started out as the program coordinator at the University Miami IBIS Clinic. So, that's an early intervention clinic for children with a neurodiversity. In 2022, I got my master's in psychology. And then I got hired with the adaptive care program at Nicholas as a behavior resource advocate. In 2023, I got my board certification. So then I was able to transition over to a board certified behavior analyst with the adaptive care program. And after that, I transitioned over to the digital technologies team with Dr. Potter. And this is where we are now.
Great. And hi, everyone. My name is Christina Potter. As Paulina mentioned, my background really sits at the intersection of psychology, clinical research, and technology. I started also in Miami. I started at the University of Miami studying psychology and chemistry, and it's really great to be speaking with the UM Connected team again today. From there, I worked as a clinical researcher up at Hasbro Children's Hospital and Brown University Medical School up in Rhode Island. And then I moved to England and completed my PhD in experimental psychology at the University of Bristol. I continued as a researcher, as a senior postdoctoral researcher at Oxford University before moving back home and transitioning into digital health and innovation at Nicholas Children's. Today, in my role in innovation, a big part of my work is helping translate evidence-informed ideas into practical programs that can support patients and families and care teams. And that path is really what led us to create the DRIVE program, which is what we'll speak about today, because DRIVE really sits right at that intersection between behavioral science and technology and practical support for families. So next slide. Driving, as you know, really is an important step towards independence. But for many neurodiverse individuals, especially individuals with autism, it can also bring a lot of anxiety. I myself have a lot of driving related anxiety. That anxiety can become a real barrier when it comes time to prepare for the driving exam. And many capable learners with autism may delay or avoid getting their driver's license because that process feels overwhelming. So the DRIVE program was created to help address that gap. It combines immersive virtual reality with a tailored curriculum and support from a behavioral analyst. Students can practice the driving exam scenarios in a safe and controlled environment with a virtual reality simulator, and they receive immediate feedback from a computer-instructed simulator, from a computer-simulated instructor, my apologies, and from the BCBA who works one-on-one with each student. So the goal is not just to teach driving skills, it's to reduce patient anxiety, build confidence, and to help students to feel more prepared for real-world driving. And we also have a couple of logos on the page. We are very grateful for the support from the Taft Foundation, from the Honda USA Foundation, who have financially supported this program over the last 5 years. And we're also very excited about a new partnership with UMNSU CARD, who are helping to support and scale this program. Next slide. So this one here goes a bit into our mission and what our vision is for this program. The mission of the DRIVE program, I should say DRIVE is an acronym. I didn't say it at the beginning. It stands for Driving Improvements Through Virtual Reality Experience. And Gabby will speak more about the technology behind the program. But the mission of DRIVE is to empower neurodiverse individuals to gain real-world driving skills while reducing their anxiety that comes with learning how to drive. What makes our program unique is the combination of technology and individualized support. So students are not just reading about driving or watching videos, though we have those as well. They are actively practicing in realistic scenarios, getting feedback again from that computer simulated instructor, and learning at a pace that works for them. Our larger vision for this work is independence. So for many families, driving is connected to school, to work, getting to doctor's appointments, seeing their friends, community participation. Helping someone feel ready to drive opens up those doors to many other opportunities. Next slide. And this slide here really shows why the work matters. On the left, we see some of the broader challenges that we're facing. Autism diagnoses have increased. Many young adults with ASD experience significant barriers after high school. And autistic teens are significantly less likely to have their driver's license by the age of 21. So again, driving is not just about transportation, it's about connection and independence, employment, education, and access to your community. And on the right, we're showing our pilot data from year one of the DRIVE program. We saw significant reductions in behind the wheel anxiety for our students, substantial reductions in parent anxiety, and overall reductions in driving related anxiety. That parent anxiety number I'm always very interested in. It's very meaningful because families, as you might imagine, often carry a lot of worry about driving readiness and safety for their children, for their family members. Seeing that anxiety number decrease suggests that the program is not just helping students, but it's helping our caregivers feel a lot more confident as well. And I'm happy to say that this program's been running strong for almost 5 years now. We've seen consistent results across the board over the last 5 years in anxiety reduction, and we are highly encouraged by the impact that we're seeing in this program. And from there, I'll hand over to Gabby.
So now we're going to talk about a little bit of the key benefits of the program. So the first one, of course, is increased accessibility and inclusivity. The program makes driving education more accessible for our neurodiverse population. Not only do we see that when we transition into that high school, early adult, young adult kind of college age, we see that there is a lack of resources or a lot of our resources drop off, but also the type of higher education that we can receive and even different types of education. So a really big goal of our program is to meet our students where they're at and teach them in a way and educate them in a way that they are able to understand, take in that knowledge and apply it. Because like Christina said, our students are capable. We just have to meet them and teach them in the way that it lets them meet their needs. We also promote greater independence. We allow our neurodiverse individuals to gain a critical skill that fosters that independence. So a lot of our students say that driving is going to open so many doors for them. So one of our students actually had to drop out of college because they no longer had the transportation to get there. They need to work to be able to support their family. So it's not a nice to have, it's an important need. And so that's why we're here to bridge that gap, not only in education and employment goals, but also our social relationships. We have some students that say that their goal is to be able to take their significant other on a date without their mom or family member in the car with them. And all of that is really important when we think of our our goals growing up and our transition into adulthood and those meaningful relationships that we start to foster around that age. One of the greatest benefits is safe and controlled learning environment. So the program provides a gradual and comfortable introduction to driving without the fear of accidents. So a lot of our students haven't gotten behind the wheel because of the fear of the consequences. So this allows us to practice in a controlled setting that if we were to crash in the simulator or make a mistake, the only thing that happens is that we restart and we try again. In real life, if we were to crash and make a mistake, that could lead to very serious consequences. Your insurance goes up, maybe somebody gets hurt, yourself or somebody else. So we take away that risk factor, and that not only allows our students to feel more comfortable, but our parents and our family members more comfortable to allow our students to take this next big leap into adulthood. Um, and I think our greatest kind of benefit and asset to the program is personalized and adaptive learning to each student. So jumping off of what Christina said, each student, the program is tailored to each student's individual needs, and support looks success and support looks different for everybody. So at the beginning of the program, we talk to our students about their goals and really what they want to get out of the program and why they want to drive. And we work together to tailor that our program to meet those needs. So let's say they're very strong in one skill but need a little bit more practice in another, or they have a really strong base skill of driving, but they're really worried mostly about anxiety and different situations like that. The freedom of our sessions allows us to mold the program to what the student needs. Um, and that also just lets them feel more seen and more heard as a student and learner. So this is one of our best parts about the program, is that everything is adapted to the learner. Success looks different. So another example is that let's say a student is, their success is, okay, I'm just going to get to work, to school and home. That's it. We have other students that are like, I'm going to get on a highway because my goal is to do a road trip. So anything that the students want is our why power, and this is why we do it. A little bit about the VR experience. So our vendor, so we work with a vendor called VR Motion, and so they are the developers who helped us create the simulator. So they have a simulator, and that is what we've used to create our curriculum around. So their simulator is based out of Oregon, and so what they do is they actually use the simulator to train truck drivers and other professional drivers that are driving as a professional trade. So it takes them through many different skill sets. And so we took their simulator and we used it to create our curriculum around driving in Miami. So VR motion is evidence-based, and all of these core skills have been shown to improve with the system. And so that includes situational awareness, coordination, muscle retention and muscle memory, and safety of people and equipment. So all of this we are also taking data on, and we also see that it improves on our side as well. So a little bit about the program breakdown. So I mentioned before that we took the curriculum already made by VR Motion, or the system already made by VR Motion, and then made a curriculum based on that. So how we did that was that we took the Florida driver's license manual and broke it up into sections, and each class is catered to a different section of the driver's license handbook. And so that is how we ensure that all of our students get all of the material that they need in order to be successful throughout the next step of the class. Our program consists of 15 sessions. They are 1 hour sessions with myself in person. And then we gradually work through not only our derived curriculum, but also our curriculum videos. So it's kind of like a class loop for lack of better explanation. So we start off and we'll talk about what we're going to do that day. Each day, the student will report their anxiety measure on a self-reported Likert scale. 0, no anxiety, 10, most anxiety. There's no right or wrong answer. We use that to gather information and also help them through whatever they need to work through throughout that day. At the end of the sessions, we see that towards the end of the program, their anxiety starts to decrease pretty exponentially. We've had students start at a 10 and end at a 2, so maybe not a 0 because no anxiety around the road would also be not so safe, but so they're feeling a lot more comfortable to actually get on the road. So we start off with our Likert scale measure. Then we talk about what we're going to be doing that day. We have two setups in which the first setup, I'll show them everything that they're going to do in the simulator without the headset on, because once they put on the headset, they can't see their hands or their feet and they can't see me. So we really want to ensure that it's really controlled, there's no surprises, and that they're exposed to everything before they go in for the first time. And then we've paired it with our curriculum videos. And this is what we've made from scratch with some other developers also that helped us make these personalized videos. We have a set of 35 curriculum videos. Each of them are about 1 to 2 minutes long. And they're also broken up by each section. So each class will play a few videos depending on our topic, practice, and then go into the simulator that way. Starts off really easy in the basics. Then we go into speed management, driving straight, all the way down to night driving, interacting with a police officer, things like that. I will show you the videos in just a second, but before that, I'll talk about the VR experience program breakdown. So we have 5 core scenarios that we focus on throughout the course of the class. So our curriculum videos are paired with also these focus scenarios. So we start off just our students in the open road. Then we gradually increase the stimulus and the difficulty level of each scenario. And each scenario builds up on one another. So they'll start off in the open road. Then we'll practice our braking, our lane weaving, our emergency stops, things like that, which is our car control scenario. Then we move in now into intersections, highway traffic, parking. Then we can introduce our nighttime driving, our rain driving. We can introduce those distractions. So we have a distraction that simulates what it would feel like to text and drive. And so that's also a really important part of driving, managing those distractions on the road, which we also talk about. And our developers have also given us two what we call our bonus scenarios. So these are not part of the core curriculum, but we do expose our students to these. And those core scenarios are called road course and vehicle awareness. So in road course, it's kind of like a empty test track. And this helps our students really get a gauge for handling of the car, feeling that smooth turning, feeling what happens if they push down on that pedal pressure and back and forth. And then vehicle awareness goes through drive-through and also a gas station. So we talk about what to do at a gas station and how to get through a drive-through. So those are our 5 core scenarios with our extra 2 bonus scenarios. Following the 15 sessions, we then, depending on the student's progress, so at the end of our program, we hope that our students are able to either complete the scenarios completely independently or with minimal support. After that, we make the recommendation that they move on to a real-world driving school that has a 30-hour program where they can practice behind the wheel of a real car with a certified driver instructor that has the capability to give them their driver's license in the end, or their driver's license exam at the end. And so what we see this helps is that anxiety around the DMV, and that also that experience, they don't have to meet somebody new and maybe that testing anxiety of, okay, I know the skills, but now I'm put under pressure in an unfamiliar place with somebody who might be a little bit intimidating comes in. And so for myself, my mom sent me to driving school twice before she even let me attempt learning how to drive. So we see that with our students, that 45 hours of practice, those 15 hours of controlled practice behind the simulator, and we do see those skills generalize over into the actual car and into the driver school setting. So our program is kind of broken down into many different facets, but all together kind of makes like one big cohesive unit cycle. I will now show you guys the some of our videos. I'm gonna see. I'm not really versed in Zoom, so I'm gonna try to click the link. Hopefully it switches us over. If not, we'll work on it. Can you see the video page? Beautiful. Okay. So this is our video library. We start off with the basics, which a lot of this is a review for our students. So in order to come into the program, the only requirement is that our students have their learner's permit. The rest, there's no age cap, there's no grade level or anything like that requirement. So it is just that they have their learner's permit. We've had students as young as 15 and students as old as so far 31. So we do see a wide variety of ages. And our program also, this kind of led me into a little caveat. We talk a lot about individuals with a neurodiversity, but we also want to emphasize that our program is for anyone. So anybody who is anxious about driving can enroll in our program. So we start off with the basics. And so the basics, this is a really nice start because it kind of goes into the review of what they've learned when they were taking their learner's permit, the basics of the car, that important stuff. And then we slowly kind of gradually increase not only the amount of material, but the intensity of the material. So sometimes we see that our students' anxiety might ebb and flow considering what we're learning in class. So students' anxiety may be decreasing, and then we see a little spike during left-hand turns because there's a lot of material that goes into left-hand turns. I'm gonna try to play a video and see if it will play. Introduction to scanning. Can you hear it also? Wow. I'm great at Zoom. Effective scanning allows drivers to spot potential hazards early and prevent accidents. Developing this skill comes with time and practice, but newer drivers often focus solely on what's right in front of them, missing potential dangers elsewhere. That's why learning how to scan properly is crucial. A consistent scanning routine helps drivers broaden their field of view, enabling them to detect risks before they escalate. Start by making sure your mirrors are correctly adjusted every time you sit in the driver's seat. This will ensure you have the best possible visibility. Then, while parked, begin practicing a scanning routine. It might look something like this. Check your left mirror. Bring your eyes back to the road. Check the rearview mirror. Eyes back to the road again. Check the right mirror. And finally, look ahead in the direction of your car's movement. It's essential to feel confident with the sequence before you start driving. Since there are fewer hazards in a parking lot or driveway, use this opportunity to master the scanning technique so it becomes second nature. While practicing, it's also a good idea to revisit the topic of blind spots. Every vehicle has blind spots, areas to the sides of the car that mirrors don't cover. Drivers need to physically turn their heads to see these areas. It's critical to check blind spots whenever making lateral movements, like changing lanes, merging, turning, or parking. When you're on the road, remember to avoid staying in another driver's blind spot for too long. With practice, you'll improve your scanning and blind spot awareness. One common mistake for new drivers is accidentally turning the steering wheel when they turn their heads to scan. Be mindful of this, and with experience, you'll become proficient at scanning and ready to advance your driving skills. So that is one of our videos. And so, for example, we would pair that video with us practicing scanning in the simulator without swerving and making sure that an appropriate amount of time passes by with us checking into the back into the road. So sometimes we see that our students will look at their mirrors for a long period of time without checking back to center. So that's something that we emphasize there. So each topic of the videos kind of look like that, paired with our it is a very kind of casual type of instruction. We paired a lot with conversation and questions and developing different scenarios to work through. I have a board back here, which we use to kind of draw out scenarios as well, and then we put them in the simulator. So there's a lot of different variations and variables to the instruction based on what the individual needs or prefers as well. So far we're at about 70 students come through the program, and we have had about over 20 get their license. So this is something that we're really excited about. So these are some of our students here. And this is just a fun fact that autistic drivers are estimated to have a lower average of monthly rates of car crashes, moving violations, and suspensions. So once our individuals get it, they truly understand it, and we see that they apply it and are safer drivers on the road. So I know that I gave a lot of information about program breakdown and things like that. So if you have any questions, we could talk about it.